evaluate the right monitoring tool for your environment. I'm working on a Kubernetes microservices environment. Um, there are so many SaaS companies out there, open source tools providing a similar set of features. Any suggestions on how to navigate this? And I empathize with this. Like there are like three major areas I think related to DevOps and where there are products making money, and it's CI/CD, it's monitoring, and it's security. And there are just too many SaaS offerings in each one of those areas. And I guess your mileage may vary. I Here are just some considerations. I think one is, what is your team familiar with in terms of the resources you already have. I wouldn't over optimize on just looking at the requirements in the end, because you have to develop an opinion for how to operate it. So if your team has years of experience doing Datadog, but you see a new shiny offering come out from Sysdig or something, just switching, I don't think is going to solve all your problems. There are always going to be trade-offs with one tool or the other. Then the other like realization I've just had this year more than ever, and it's almost a mea culpa, is that like open source, there's this I think false belief as developers or engineers who are getting paid to implement it but not paying the bill to implement it in what things cost. As a business owner and Cloud Posse and running these things, Prometheus and Grafana, yeah, it's free, but it is not free to implement it and operate it and keep it up to date. We're doing another implementation of it right now, and everything has changed underneath our feet one more time. No reuse. And we have to rethink and reinvestigate and reevaluate what are the best charts to use, what are the best Docker images that are stable and maintained, and going through all that. And then Datadog comes across, and they've come a long, long ways, and it's expensive. But the other way of looking at it is you're amortizing that cost of maintenance for that other monitoring stack you're trying to do into a monthly payment with this provider that keeps it up to date, and you don't have to keep worrying about it. So the decision needs to come down. If you are a very large company and very large team, consider Prometheus and Grafana. If you are a one-man shop, okay, and you just strictly don't have the budget, okay, I guess you don't have a choice. You got to go with something like Prometheus and Grafana. Just realize it's going to bite you sooner or later. And then if you have the budget and you don't have the team, just go for a managed service like Prometheus or like a Datadog or something like that.
I always
So
like
speaking of that, go ahead. Sorry.
just real quick, I always like to balance the cost of an outage or a number of outages against the cost of the tools and support.
Yeah.
I want to, Charity Majors had a recent article, blog post, something, I've just linked it in Slack, about the future of ops jobs. One of those is vendor engineering. And it's very, very relevant because you cannot pick a monitoring choose based on requirements and what you think it is. Unless you, first of all, already use that tool, already have some experience with it, know how it works, and unless you actually used it in production in some way, seen it in an outage, you cannot really make an informed choice. You can pick the best thing that you think will solve your problems, but it's not gonna be that helpful.
No, it's really cool.
And it depends.
Shared that. This is I'm gonna read this.
Yeah, no, Charity is amazing. And full disclosure, she is running an observability company. It's Honeycomb. I use them heavily. I think they're absolutely awesome. I benchmark all other monitoring companies to them, but that's opinion, and that I've seen it work in production. I've seen it work really well, but they don't do metrics very well, for example, or they won't work if you have some very exotic apps in very exotic languages, because they don't have libraries for, I don't know, low-level Haskell. They actually do have a Haskell library because I wanted to use it, but let's not go into that. The thing is, unless you've actually run those tools in production, you're not gonna know how they behave. You're not gonna know what their advantages and disadvantages are. Like I thought Prometheus was awesome.
Interoperate with your other services, SaaS. That's the other big thing is like the SaaS services. They take off a big chunk of work and maintenance off your plate, but then you in the end need to tie them together somehow. So yeah.
Oh yeah, I love when people use different tools. Like we're gonna put our logs in, I don't know, Papertrail or Elasticsearch. We're gonna put our metrics in Prometheus, and we're gonna look at them in Grafana, and we're gonna put our traces in Yammer, and we're gonna look at them in DeckUI. Good luck debugging the goddamn problem. Excuse me the language. Okay, so I'm gonna open up the logs. This looks kind of weird. I don't know. Is it running out of memory? Oh, okay. Let me open up another window. Oh, of course, this is not in UTC, it's in a local time zone. So let me change that after half an hour of not understanding what is happening here. And so on and so forth.
And that's why Datadog can charge you so much for sending logs their way. It's insane.
Yeah.
If I can generalize, like Datadog is the best old school provider. They aren't really helpful if you want to do proper observability because you cannot easily find the trace that you're interested in. They do support tagging, but very, very light, and it's not enough. AWS X-Ray has the same problem. They have a lot of very valuable data. It's super hard to find. Yeah. But yeah, Datadog has all three pillars, which is bullshit, but still in the same place. That's it. Honeycomb is the awesome new kid on the block. And I haven't tried Lightstep. I'm hearing good things, but I haven't had the chance of using them in production, so I can't comment.
Cool. You haven't checked that out. Honeycomb.io?
Yeah.
Cool.
That just threw me for a loop. There's a Honey Badger, which is like a Ruby alerting alert or like error tracker. And I was thinking, new kid on the block, that thing's old.
So this the original monitoring APM synthetics, newrelic, they actually converted to newrelic 1, and they also changed the pricing plan. Now they are saying it's cheaper. I tried to evaluate, but I think it's still costlier. I was just wondering, if anyone has experience, comparing the cost, which gives you paying for buck. Like, Datadog, we have New Relic 1 and then Honeycomb. Maybe Honeycomb would be cheaper because it's new.
They're not really in the same area. Like, they all do monitoring, it's like saying they all cook food. That's true, but like, one is dessert, one is steak, one is, I don't know, sushi, and the other one is tacos. You can compare them, but it's not that helpful.
Yeah.
I should have added milk in there because people are intolerant to that. That would have been a better metaphor, goddammit.
Yeah, that was a good, I think, overview of the problem of monitoring that we face here with Kubernetes. And last thing, whatever you choose is gonna more or less be hated on in 1 to 2 years from now, and you're gonna wonder why you picked it. So these are. You're going to reevaluate these considerations or these decisions later on, and they are maybe reversible, but there's a huge cost of switching, and you might save some money by switching, but like, is it really going to work out? And and like that two year horizon, by the time you recoup the money you saved by switching, what is the new kid on the block at that point?